Welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got a very special Wednesday Wisdom this week. But before we meet our guest, I want to give a shout out to our podcast partners, the Global Community of Women in High School Sports, and We Coach. These are two fantastic organizations that you really need to be a part of. Check out We Coach and the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. Now let's have a quick word from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Athletic Surveys for sponsoring the Athletic Director Toolbox segment of our regular podcast. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve every aspect of your program. At my schools, we use surveys for just about everything, for teachers, for coaches, for kids, and for parents. And the information that would come back on these surveys was almost always positive, and it'll be the same for you. But surveys also allow that squeaky wheel parent to vent a little bit. And sometimes they'll share a small issue that you can address and keep from turning into a big issue because you didn't know about it, because you didn't do a survey. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to find out more. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the pros at Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms, the industry leader in registration, but Final Forms is so much more than that. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with parent reminders about policies, about physicals, and all the forms that come when you have an athlete in the house. Final Forms can help your coaches with things like attendance and communication. And for you as an athletic director, Final Forms can help with eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. You know, it's time that you talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake and get started with Final Forms. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. Go to huddle.com. Huddle is how the world sees sports. Over 200,000 teams use Huddle to help their athletes perform at the highest level. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. And as an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. And if you go to huddle.com, you're going to find tools that will help your athletes, your teams, your coaches play better. Go to huddle.com and you'll find a complete professional grade solution to the challenges that you and your coaches face. At Huddle, we believe in sports and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 6 million users. Go to huddle.com and find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to our good friends at Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and see how athletic directors and coaches are creating world-class marketing content for their school's social media channels. You can do it in seconds on any device, and you don't need any design experience. Go to Gipper.com and tell them you heard about it on the podcast. Use our code ADPOD10 and get 10% off. That's Gipper.com. Create custom branded content for your school's social media channel. We also want to say thanks to Snap Mobile. Go to onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com and check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help you out as an athletic director. Snap Raise is their very successful fundraising platform. Our coaches use Snap Raise, and it was just terrific. And if you go to Snap Raise, there's actually an option to get your funding before you even start your fundraiser. Snap Spend is their secure money management platform. Snap Store allows you to order custom spirit gear for everybody on your team. Snap Connect is their multilingual family engagement program. And Snap Manage will help you create an entire website. You can find it all at onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com. We want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. If you go to hometownticketing.com, they will show you how to set up and sell your tickets online. They'll show you how to scan the attendees that come to your games and collect your revenue. And every step of the way, You'll have a dedicated client success manager providing hands-on support. That's every step of the way. Go to hometownticketing.com. They'll also show you how to set up and sell tickets for things like school dances, school plays and concerts, even graduation. You can find it all at hometownticketing.com. Simple and easy online ticketing. We also want to say thank you to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school's record boards for all your sports or your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and check out their interactive touchscreen consoles and their library of templates, which will help you recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. You can also email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. Let them help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. And we want to thank the good folks at sidelineinteractive.com. Their indoor scoring tables and video boards not only generate income for your department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. We've got a Sideline Interactive indoor score table in our gym, and it's just fantastic. We use it for home games, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. It's tremendously versatile, and their customer service is just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com to see exactly what their fantastic products can do for you. That's sidelineinteractive.com or email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com for more information. Welcome back, everyone, to a very special Wednesday Wisdom segment. We've got a previous podcast guest. Actually, she was the 300th interview that we did. Her toolbox recommendations are in the second edition of the Athletic Director's Toolbox. But as part of our year-long celebration of the 50th anniversary of Title IX, very happy and excited to bring back Jan Murphy. Jan was a Title IX pioneer, competing at the high school and the college level back in the early days of Title IX. Went on to have an extremely successful career as a high school and as a college coach. And even though she retired a couple years ago, she's still very active in the sport at the state and at the national level. So Jan Murphy, welcome to Wednesday Wisdom.
Well, thanks for having me back, Jake.
Okay. Well, again, you were there at the very beginning. And if somebody missed, your podcast episode, which I encourage you to go back and listen to, give us a little bit of your background, where you're born, where you grew up a little bit, put it in context for us.
Well, I was born in Los Angeles, and my family moved to Oregon when I was 12. And I was immediately a very good athlete, and found that out through the President's Fitness test in junior high school. So I went out for track. I was successful at the track season, and then the next year I wanted to run cross country, and that was 1974 when Title IX was being enacted across the state of Oregon. And I wanted to run cross country, and I was told, well, you can't, we don't have a team for you. And I said, well, I can run on the boys team. Didn't make the coach happy, but I did, and I was successful, made the top 7 sometimes. And he said, okay, you can have your own team. So I literally recruited 4 other girls to run with me every week. That team went to state. The next year, it just became a thing. It was a very successful program, and it continues to be successful today. I did go on to Oregon State University and ran cross country and track there. I ran the 5,000 meters.
Yeah, we'll talk about your college experience here in a second, but let's go back to those high school days. So, you ran on the track team that spring and had some success. I think you're being kind of modest. Didn't you, set some school records or something? And then that fall, there is no girls cross country team. So you're
Right.
literally running with and beating a lot of the boys. And at that point, the coach says, okay, you can have your own team. Is that how it went?
Kind of, yeah. He said, you can have your own team. You need to go get some girls to run with you so you can have team, because you need to have 5 on a cross country team. And I did recruit 4 different girls every week because, once they did it, they never wanted to do it again. Even my sister ran once.
Oh my goodness. Now, from a coaching standpoint, I'm not trying to, throw anybody under the bus, but did the boys coach, was he also the girls coach, or did you have to go out and find a separate girls coach?
That first year he was the girls coach. And then I remember the next year they hired art teacher that coached cross country, Coach Moan.
Yeah.
So
No,
that
very,
really helped the success of the team because we had somebody who was on our side.
oh no, absolutely. That, obviously later on becoming a coach, how important that is to have
Yeah.
that coach in the building. Let's go ahead and transition to those college years. You mentioned that you went to Oregon State University. Now, what was the state of women's college athletics, and I guess in particular cross country and track at the Division I level back in, this would have been, I guess, 1976?
Yeah. The fall of 1976. From my recollection, it was the first year they let women run the 5,000 meters at all. We were still in the Northwest Women's Athletic, some more other letters, but an association that was sort of separate from NC2A. I know I ran in a regional meet and I had a t-shirt with, all those letters on it. But we had, I want to say, a tennis coach who was basically just a manager, and then a GA who ran with us. It was not great conditions. We all rode a bus. We would go from Corvallis, Oregon to Seattle in a bus. We did spend the night once. We had to get sack lunches on our meal plan for us to eat. It was not great. Not great at all. I think we wore hand-me-down sweats. I still have a pair. So it was a challenge.
Now, I'm going somewhere with this question, so bear with me. Are you still in touch with any of the women who ran on that first cross country team back at Oregon State University?
Well, I went to high school with one, so I see her from time to time. And then last month at the Hall of Fame that inducted a bunch of women, I ran into several that I had not seen since I graduated. Oh, that was kind of fun.
Let's go and talk about that. You shared with me that last month, Oregon State University, as part of their annual Athletic Hall of Fame, also recognized a number of what they called Title IX trailblazers. And you were one of those trailblazers that was acknowledged. Talk a little bit about that experience.
Well, I got to tell you, like a lot of other women, I was like, really? Is this for real? Is this a trick email? And I know at least 2 people didn't go because they didn't even believe it. But it was a wonderful experience. They inducted, I want to say it was the first Women's Hall of Fame because they inducted a lot of people. Like, I don't know, maybe 50, 40 people. It was a lot. So we had a couple of track teams that in the 70s did pretty well, relay teams that scored, national athletes that made the national meet. So those were all honored.
Yeah, again, I was able to see some photos of that, and it just looked like a really, really cool event. And congratulations, for being singled out by Oregon State as a Title IX trailblazer. Okay, very cool stuff.
Thank you.
Let's go and talk about your coaching career. Now, again, you had a tremendous career at the high school level. You coached collegiately, coached some All-Americans, coached some people that competed at the Olympic level, had numerous state championships, Coach of the Year honors. There's an expression that is used, and it's a very appropriate expression, regarding women, that we want, this women, we want a seat at the table. Well, you've had a seat at the table for a long time. How did you go, or what were some of the things that you did once you were at the table to, let's say, continue to, let the other people at the table know, hey, women's sports is important. I know what the heck I'm doing. Share a little bit about that experience.
Well, I volunteered for advisory groups. I volunteered to be in Florida. They have a FACA runs a senior track meet or cross country meet after the state meet. I volunteered to do that. And I just tried to get involved and stay involved. And when we were in meetings, say, hey, don't forget us, just repeatedly. And I want to say in Florida, it took 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 years before I felt like people even saw what I was trying to say or what I was trying to do. And now when you go to a meeting, it's almost 50-50 with men and women. So that's been really awesome to see.
So again, I certainly don't want to put words in your mouth, but acknowledging that it took many years and that we still, undoubtedly have a lot of room to go. But it sounds like you were very proactive of, volunteering for the committees, serving on committees, going to the conferences and things. And as you said, hey, we're over here or I'm over here. Is that a good summary of that?
I think so. Yeah. I tried not to be that, trying to think of the right word to say, but that creaky wheel that you hated. You wanted to be that, just a reminder, like, don't leave us out. And so I tried to uh, skirt that, being in your face, but not being that we don't like her because she's always in her face kind of person. So, and it helps that I'm short and easy to go, oh, yeah, she's just over there.
you weren't physically threatening to
No,
the men in the room. All right,
no.
and we all know how important that is.
Yeah.
Again, tremendous career, Hall of Fame worthy career, definitely. Even though you retired a couple years ago, you're still very active in cross country and track, and in athletics as well as an official, not just here in Florida, but also at the national level. Talk a little bit about that. How'd you get involved with officiating, and what's the path for somebody that might want to get involved and be like you, a multi meet national official?
Well, as a 40 plus track coach veteran, when you would go to a track meet, you always worked an event. So I've been an official for 40 plus years. I think when we moved to Florida, the official said, can you join our association? Can you take the rules test? Can you do other meets besides just the ones your team's at? So I did some of that as it worked into my schedule. And then I think the year that my son was at the pole vault and didn't jump a height, and the referees argued with me, and I said, okay. And my son got 4th place that year. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to be a little bit more active in this association so that I can't complain about officials if I'm not willing to do them. So I've done that more officially since then. So really about 10 years more serious like that. And then I joined USA Track and Field in 2015. So I've been very active since then in both USA Track and Field, high school track and field. I worked for the Pacific Association, so I did the college meets that were in our area, and I've continued to do that. I recently just came home from the USA annual meeting, which is all about, getting our sport recognized and people knowing how they can be officials. So,
Yeah, I mean,
and
you go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was going to say, I forgot what else you asked me.
Well, I was going to say you are. I know you're on that go-to list here in Florida for state the state championship meets as an official. Talk a little bit about coaching in a national meet. You've done a number of national collegiate meets here in the last couple of years. Talk about that experience.
Uh, it was really thrilling. I think the year that Missouri Valley College went to the national meet in California, I think we took like 22 kids. We rented 3 vans, having that great group of people. It was phenomenal. Our teams did great, and it really, left them all with they loved their college experience because they got to go to that national meet. And we did a lot of fun things when we were out in California as well. The first year I was a head college coach, my team won the conference. I got coach of the year, and we ran at Kenosha, Wisconsin. And it's just fun to do something different you've never done before. It was snowing, it was crazy, and my girls were just really glad to be there.
Yeah, great memories, and appreciate you sharing those with us. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit about, coaching or being an official, or, talk about Title IX, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
My email, it's janpmurphy@gmail.com.
Okay, janpmurphy@gmail.com.
Yes.
Jan, thanks so much for taking some time to be with us on Wednesday Wisdom today, and all the best moving forward.
All right. Thank you. It was great to be here again.
Okay. And for our listeners, don't forget, if you missed Jan's podcast episode, it's episode number 300. And it's also her toolbox suggestions are also included in the Athletic Director's Toolbox 2nd edition. We do this every single Wednesday, and the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews get uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Come back next Wednesday for more Wednesday Wisdom, and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Thanks again for listening to this week's Wednesday Wisdom episode. We do want to thank our sponsors who help make this all happen. Final Forms, On Snap Mobile, Gipper, Huddle, Sideline Interactive, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, Hometown Ticketing, and Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, who sponsor the AD Toolbox segment of our regular podcast. Don't forget, we will be attending the NADC conference in Nashville. So shoot me an email at jakestouchdown@gmail.com if you'd like to chat, or my cell phone is 305-218-1325. Give me a call or shoot me a text. I would love to connect, and we'd love to get you on the podcast to tell your story. So again, thanks for tuning in to Wednesday Wisdom. We'll see you next time. Everybody have a great week.